First things first, Imran, how does it feel to be out of jail?
Jail and hiding. I mean, I was underground, so for 2 weeks before I was in jail. Great, because the time wouldn't pass in jail. I would not, it was I used to look at my watch, and I think 4 hours had passed, and I look, it would be only half an hour. So it was a weird experience.
And what were the conditions like in jail?
Actually, conditions were bad, but the people, from the jailers to the other prisoners to the police, everyone was respectful and friendly and cooperative.
Now today, no surprise, Supreme Court comes out and rules that General Musharraf's re-election is legal. What's your reaction to that?
Well, the whole drama of the emergency on 3rd of November, supposedly to fight terrorism, the whole drama was to get rid of the Supreme Court, get his own pocket judges in, and then legitimize every illegal act of his. These judges, if Musharraf decides to become Emperor of Pakistan, they will legitimize that too. They'll do anything.
So what about the way forward then? Some people are saying, well, the solution is free and fair elections on January the 8th.
That is the only solution. There is any other solution is going to aggravate the situation, whether it is the militancy in Pakistan, whether it is unrest on the streets, whether it's the lawyers movement, whether it's students on the campus now. Everything is going to get worse. Any other solution but free and fair elections, which unfortunately cannot be held under Musharraf anymore, because it's clear what he plans to do. He wants to become a Hosni Mubarak of Pakistan, keep holding fraudulent elections, have his own pocket judges, control the election commission, muzzle the media, and then just sit there and have this a rubber stamp parliament, which is what he's had in the last 5 years. And this is quite obviously his plan, and that's why it is important that all opposition parties should not participate in this election, which would only be to legitimize him.
Do you think that all other opposition parties will follow that decision to boycott the elections in January?
Well, the main, all the other opposition parties have a complete consensus that this will be the most fraudulent election in the history of Pakistan. The only question mark is Benazir Bhutto. We don't know whether she'll boycott or whether she'll participate. She says that the judiciary should be restored. She says this caretaker government is basically Musharraf's own stooges there. She says that under emergency you can't have elections. She says the media is gagged. But then she also hasn't ruled out participating in the elections, and that's really what we are waiting for. If she, and day after tomorrow we make a decision. If she decides to boycott, then it's clear. The whole opposition will boycott it. But if she fights, then it creates a bit of a problem.
Do you have confidence that Benazir Bhutto is straight dealing, both with the politicians and with Pakistan in general?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, her past record hasn't been good, because she talked about the restoration of democracy, and all the time she was dealing with a military dictator, and in the end it transpired a power sharing deal with a military general. So that was the biggest blow to the opposition. In fact, she basically backstabbed the opposition. Hence there is still a considerable amount of suspicion. But we'll all forgive her if she decides to boycott the election with all of us and makes this whole credible this process discredits the process of what Musharraf has got in store for us. But if she goes through with the election, then there'll be again question marks that this is yet another Bush administration-backed deal to keep their man in office with Benazir, the civilian face.
What conditions need to be in place to guarantee free and fair elections in January?
There is only one condition. From the opposition, the APDM, which is the alliance, which I'm part of, all we want is the Supreme Court Chief Justice to be restored. And we want, all the judges that are under house arrest, we want them back because they are the legal judges. That is the legal Supreme Court. Everything, these current judges, no one trusts. These are General Musharraf's pocket judges. They are basically stooges of Musharraf who will say yes to anything he wants them to say. So if the Supreme Court is restored, then of course we will go along with the elections.
Is it possible to contemplate a future for Pakistan with General Musharraf still in power, or do you think the opposition movement is moving towards getting General Musharraf out of power completely?
The longer General Musharraf stays, the bigger the disaster which is happening in Pakistan. There is a complete consensus in Pakistan, from the extreme right to the extreme left, or the liberals, the civil society, the lawyers, the media, the journalists, the columnists. There is a complete consensus that Musharraf has to go, that Musharraf is now the problem. He cannot solve any problems. He can't be a solution because he is the problem of Pakistan. Whether this growing extremism in the country, every day you see more radicalization of our society, things getting from bad to worse, whether it is the economic disparity between the rich and the poor, whether it is the lawlessness, whether it is the complete destruction of rule of law in Pakistan, everyone believes that Musharraf is the cause now. And so he has to go.
Except for one key factor there, United States. We heard President Bush only this week calling President Musharraf a man of his word. And President Bush also said that he didn't consider that General Musharraf had crossed any line. What do you think about the US actions in this whole crisis?
Well, I would not blame the US for what George Bush does, because as we all know, the majority of the Americans don't go along with Bush anymore. But George Bush is causing the rise in anti-Americanism in Pakistan. How does he think that we Pakistanis feel when he's backing one man at the expense of 160 million people? Does he not care that this one man has destroyed our Supreme Court, he has destroyed our institutions, our army is killing their own people, and when women and children die, he calls it collateral damage? People have disappeared in this country, he's destroyed the rule of law. Does he not care that there's one man destroying the future of our generations? As long as that one man says yes to everything George Bush says, he doesn't care about 160 million people. Why is he then surprised that the people in this country are turning against the US?
Absolutely. My final question, you're still known as an international cricketing hero to much of the world. Have there been any days in the last couple of weeks that you've got out of bed or woken up in the morning and thought, I should have stuck to cricket?
Not even once. When I came into politics, my politics was always going to be against the establishment, against the status quo, a status quo that has stopped the potential of this country, a status quo which is parasites. They're parasites, they're bleeding this country, they're sucking the blood of Pakistan. And so when I came into politics, I always realized that, I would meet a lot of resistance. I felt, you could, when people who are benefiting from the status quo, and if I challenge them, you have a possibility of losing your life. So I always came in with my eyes open, and I thought I would go all the way. And so what happened in these past 2 weeks was, not really that, it's not sort of that scary for me, considering that I had thought, that I'm in it for right till I live, till I'm alive. So it wasn't something that scared me or I was put off by politics. I expected it. In fact, I expected worse.